Hello all, welcome to another episode of the Dracyon podcast. I have with myself Connor Shelton. I have Jeff Shelton here to talk about air cannons some more. I know everyone is excited about that. I have a couple questions I am going to ask him, and he is going to wow you with all of his answers.
I'm not sure that I'll wow him, but I will certainly try.
Can you briefly describe nozzles on air cannons?
A nozzle for an air cannon takes the air blast from the air tank and it directs it into the material. Now, there's several different ways that you can do it. One is the traditional fan jet nozzle, which is designed to spread the nozzle out. And we feel like that's bad because it reduces the velocity, and velocity is the key to any successful nozzle installation. If you focus the blast, you'll extend the cleaning range by up to 5 times, depending on the air cannon tank and the nozzle you use.
You mentioned the traditional fan jet nozzle, and is the Martin Engineering Smart Nozzle designed to be an imitation of the fan jet nozzle?
Absolutely. The benefit of a fan jet nozzle, or the smart nozzle, is it reduces the installation cost. But at the same time, it is much smaller than the traditional fan jet nozzle. So there's a lot of cost savings in not only installing this, but also manufacturing this. Martin Engineering Smart Nozzle is designed just to give you the benefit of the installation cost. They don't offer a big benefit on the cost of the nozzle because, quite frankly, they increase their gross margin. If you compare the modern nozzle, which is designed to be a combination of the high velocity nozzle and the fan jet nozzle, we focused the blast so that we were able to get a much deeper penetration into it. And what it'll do, it will reduce the number of air cannons needed, and it will improve the cleaning. As I said, if you replace the traditional fan jet nozzle or a smart nozzle with a 4-inch high velocity nozzle, you get the best of both worlds. You get an increased peak force, you get increased flow, and you get increased cleaning depth. We believe, or we know from experience, that a 4-inch high velocity nozzle will double the cleaning depth that you get with a traditional smart nozzle.
It has me add on to this next question I have, which is, do you know the history of traditional nozzles? And it sounds like a smart nozzle is just a knockoff of the fan jet nozzle. Is that true?
Well, yes, it's true. They showed in their web presentation on it, so where it simulates the exact blast pattern of a fan jet nozzle. Again, the only savings is not increased cleaning, but an installation cost. The modern nozzle, which will improve the cleaning, but also give you the installation cost savings. The difference between the smart nozzle and the modern nozzle is several $100,000 total during a 3-year period. Now, in this, we can provide you a detailed study, where we use the industry average of 100 cannons per tower. 25% of those are replaced every year, 50% are replaced every 2 years, and then 25% will last the full 3 year. We will give you a total savings guarantee that our nozzles will last 3 years, so that it reduces all the maintenance costs. Now, when an air cannon nozzle begins to fail, you lose the cleaning effectiveness of an air cannon, and it's not good. You buy air cannons to move material, and you just will not move as much material.
In the past, has traditional nozzles worked?
Well, there's thousands of them installed. So the clear answer is, in yesterday's cement plants, they have worked, and they've worked quite well. And in some applications where you're cleaning a duct, cover the whole duct with air, they still will work, but they still will not clean a big area. We've applied these nozzles in many applications like that. And if you have a dry material, it can clean up to 10 feet.
What are the differences between a traditional nozzle and the modern new nozzles?
The first thing is that I'm going to say is that the modern nozzles, you know, we say that it's a function of the momentum and kinetic energy that does the cleaning, while our competitors say that it's peak force. But peak force is area times pressure. So if you can support this nozzle with enough air, you have more area and you have the same amount of pressure. If I wanted to tell you that our air cannon is strictly on peak force, it would be up to 6 times greater. But peak force is an instantaneous force. So it's all about bulk material reacts better to momentum and kinetic energy. Not only does this have a greater peak force, but it has a much greater momentum and kinetic energy. And that's what you need to focus on. We recommend strongly you follow the science.
What are some of the benefits available from the new nozzles?
Well, the new nozzles, the number one thing, you know, I used to tell people if you buy an air cannon to clean, move material. Work for an air cannon is moving material. So if you move the material, the better you move the material, the better return on investment you get from the air cannon. So it moves material much better. It has a higher peak force, so what happens is you don't have to operate the air cannon as frequently. So there's a big difference in reliability of air cannon. Any air cannon, mine, yours, anybody's, the less frequently you operate it, the more dependable it becomes. To summarize the benefits, better cleaning, better life, and greater dependability.
What about the tank size? Is that related at all to your nozzle design?
Well, let me tell you this. The way that I like to correlate that is I go, have you ever done leaves in your front yard with a leaf blower? Do you turn the leaf blower on and off? No, I think you probably leave it on because the more volume is, the more material you move. So it takes one size air cannon, air tank, to support a 4-inch smart nozzle. It takes a bigger tank to support a 6 or 7-inch modern style nozzle, or even a 5-inch. Volume is important. Size does matter.
Is the sequence of a new nozzle different from the traditional nozzles?
Well, because we generate a lot more power, you can operate it less frequently and still move more material. We are all about moving material, and we believe that you can operate our air cannons half the operational cycle. If this one's operating every 10 minutes, ours should be operated every 20 minutes. 20 minutes for theirs, 40 minutes for ours.
Wow, that's impressive. And that kind of ties into my next question, which is, what is the life expectancy of the new nozzles versus the traditional nozzle? Something tells me it's going to be much longer lasting.
Well, our new nozzle, we use superior material. So it's a stainless steel that's designed for the application, so it's superior material. The fact that we keep everything clean means that the nozzle sees less corrosion. So superior material of construction plus keeping the material out of the nozzle will increase the life of the nozzle. But we guarantee 3-year life, which is unheard of in nozzle. You know, no one guarantees a 3-year nozzle life. If you have a nozzle that has to be replaced at the 2nd year, you get a new nozzle.
That's impressive. So our nozzles might outlast the refractory.
Well, we've seen it do that, exactly that. You know, typically in a riser duct, many plants replace their refractory every year. So that would be 3 times the life. You could replace the refractory 3 times without replacing the nozzle. That's a big cost savings.
It certainly sounds like it. Do you have any closing remarks?
Yes, we believe when you follow the science and use common sense, the nozzle life should be much greater than what it is. You need to protect the air cannon and the nozzle from the environments, which we do. I will also add, protecting the nozzle from the environment is also protecting the air cannon from moisture in the airline. We can reduce the moisture, reduce the temperature of the air, which will give us a harder blast. People want to say, how do you avoid cleaning? The harder the blast and the longer it is, the better your cleaning is. Years ago, I was at a cement plant that made the transformation from straight 4-inch pipes to the fan jet nozzle. This is when they were first installed. And he said the pipe nozzles worked the best, but he never could get the plant to change it because the air cannon OEM kept recommending the fan jet nozzle. But the question is, does it work better? And I don't think that in most applications that it does work better. And it's designed to meet the needs of yesterday's cement plants, not today's. Today's cement plants are much larger, and you have to clean a further distance from the cannon, which the fan jet nozzle, even if you increase the tank size, are not designed to meet those needs. You have to have a new cannon nozzle design with a bigger tank to meet today's design. Work is classified as moving material. And I asked the question, how do you move more material that's being required today with the same air cannon from yesterday? Simple answer is you don't. It's not designed to. And why would you accept yesterday's solutions for today's needs?
And then if you look down here, this has 1, 2, at least two 90s. And the pipe is long and the volume here is not sufficient.
Well, thank y'all for listening to the Dracyon podcast. And remember, follow the science. It won't lead you astray.